This is the Squatch Holler podcast. Thanks everyone for listening. If you listen to the first one, I had David Ellis on, who's who's really kind of known as the Bigfoot audio expert. But obviously we're going to do, I want to interview kind of experts in the Bigfoot field, but also I want to get some witnesses on. And then also some of the people that I run around with on weekends looking for Bigfoot or doing Bigfoot research, whatever you call it. And that's Jamie Ginter. Jamie, we've known each other for what, 2 years now?
About three.
3?
3 this month.
3 this it's our anniversary.
Yeah. Okay.
That's funny. But so like I said, we're going to try to get some witnesses and stuff on this podcast, but we have Robert Honline, also known by Bud. And I'll kind of let you do the introduction of him, Jamie.
Well, I don't know a whole bunch about Bud. I've camped with him before. I know that him and his wife are really good people. We camped together at Land Between the Lakes, but he was a real nice guy, and we chatted back and forth a little bit. And we had a cancellation tonight on another guy we also had invited on here, and something come up and he couldn't be here. So I said, I'm going to get a hold of Bud and see if Bud wants to come on. So I contacted him. He was just getting ready to get in the shower. So he threw his clothes back on and he's on the show with
us. Yeah. Thanks, Bud, for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Bud.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Now, what we've been talking about, Bud, is here last few days, we've mostly, well, me and Aaron and Bob, and we got about up to 6 or 7 of us that run together, but it's typically not 6 or 7 of us. That's actually kind of rare when we get all of us together at the same time because working constraints and all that good stuff. But typically it's me and Bob and Aaron, but we have some other guys that join us sometimes, Ryan and Derek and Chin and Aaron's dad, Kevin. And so they join us sometimes too. And every once in a while we all get together and have a good time out tromping through the woods at night. But one of the things that we get the most is the audio. Audio's been real important, and we've got some parameters as via how many hertz we got on the when Aaron puts it on spectrogram. We were told between 600 and 800 hertz should be the range that we should be in, and we've hit that several times, or I should say Aaron's hit that several times. He does all the computer stuff. I got a lot of audio, but it's still on my audio recorder, and I ain't done nothing with it for like 2 years. I hate to have to go back through and filter all that crap out because there's like 30 hours on there or something like that. Yeah. And but we'll talk about audio first, and audio has been real huge for us. So that's where we've had our best luck with anything has been audio.
Same with us.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. We've tried different experiments with it. The audio, what's nice is sometimes Aaron will bring his laptop and he can throw it on there real quick with it. I'll pull it off his audio recorder and check it to see what frequencies it's coming in at. And we can see if it's no or go, and that's been kind of sweet. We don't have that opportunity all the time, but so we've done that a few times, and we've tested some sound because when we first started, we wasn't sure how far. I was trying to make an educated guess, which was a huge mistake because the education part's not so great. And I was guessing way off. I mean, it was like 3 miles away, and Aaron was saying, man, he's like, it can't be 3 miles away. Did you mute, Bud?
No, I think he's good.
Can you hear us okay? Bud, can you hear us?
I don't think he can.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Was that me or you?
I don't think I went quiet.
I don't think I could hear. I could hear him fine too.
Okay. So what we did was we just did a little bit of testing. We split up, and Aaron has a audio recorded, and he uses it on one of those big police speakers.
Megaphone.
Megaphone. I went brain dead there for a minute. And he just loaded it to an SD card because his megaphone takes an SD card. And he was using that to blast it. and which works great. We've tested with it, and we're hearing roughly around reaching out about a mile. In the wintertime, I think potentially we could go a little farther. And so we did some testing, like knocking, and then using the megaphone, and about a mile is when it seems like we start having trouble hearing it. So we were doing this, and there's no doubt. I guess I'm making the assumption that they could potentially broadcast louder due to lung size or whatever, from what I hear, but I really don't know that. But we're thinking that they're somewhere within a mile or less, and we can kind of, we're making the assumption at about a mile to a mile and a quarter, we're going to lose that being able to hear it. And so we're going by how loud we hear it when they actually do it. And then we try to take an educated guess, or I guess I should say a stupid guess, on how far away that audio was. Well, that's where we get into our first problem is, you take off in the woods and you start tromping along, going to try to find something. It doesn't work out. Never works out. We have one area we go to. We can sit at the graveyard, and he can play that, and we'll get a couple responses. And then the next time we go a little ways into the woods, and we get nothing.
And then we come out, we sit at the graveyard, and then I play it, and then it starts going off.
And then it'll do it again. But if we step foot in the woods, it's like they're setting up somewhere watching us. They're saying, "Well, look, here comes these idiots." It's like, everybody shut up. Here comes the idiots again with the flashlights. And so we try going in at dark, and that doesn't work either. It's like, man, when we step in, it's over with. We don't get nothing. It's crazy how that stuff works. But tell us a little bit about the audio you guys are hearing.
Well, our favorite spot that we go to, our most visited spot, is in West Virginia. I got a buddy up there who owns 100 or so acres in the mountains, and it's awesome. We get all kinds of audio, weird sounds, grunts, howls, even some EVPs, and we don't do that. We don't play that game.
Yeah, we don't.
Someone says boo, I'm gone, but I'll go chase a big hairy creature through the woods in the middle of the night. But something says boo, I'm gone. But, yeah, and we just got back from Flat Rock's place. I don't know if you guys know Flat Rock.
Yep.
Yeah, we done a long weekend down there investigating, and caught some real good stuff. I mean, we ain't even got our video out yet because it's been 2 weeks, and I'm talk about audio. I've got one more recorder to listen to, and it'll be a little bit over 100 hours I've listened to in the last 2 weeks. And then of course, we market, and my wife, like I was telling Aaron there, she's a smart, pretty, and tech one of this couple. I'm just a muscle, and whatever needs done, I can do it, except unless it's on the computer. But we also I went to Snell Grove Lake with Doug Hychek, Chris Reinhardt, Adam Colt, and there's another guy, Joe. I can't pronounce his last name. He's Italian, but a great guy. But I learned some stuff up there when I went. And I'm using some of them right now, down at Flat Rocks in West Virginia. And there's some cameras that are awesome. They're just cheap little old security cameras, but they're great.
Yeah.
And I still need to go through all the video of that from Flat Rocks. I had my GoPro, my night vision, my thermals, 4 audio recorders, and every one of them got. I'd put them out every night, and I usually try to keep mine out 12 to. I don't put them out during the day because I like to. Me and my wife, we used to go by ourselves, but here lately we've been having other YouTubers, Bigfooters, go with us, and so using the daytime, we like to act like we're fishing, camping. We like to get out in the woods. Don't make it obvious we're looking for anything, but just we want to be seen. And then that night, while we're out in the woods the daytime, I'll be putting out the recorders close to dusk and cameras and all that. And then we go back to camp close to dark, and there I've got some other camera traps and stuff like that set up that I'm trying. And we like them to come to us, and it's been working pretty good about everywhere we went. You know, we try not to make it so obvious that we're actually out there looking for them, but we try to get out in the woods in daytime and then go back to camp at night, and then they come to us. And it seems like it's working pretty good.
Yeah. Me and Bob, Aaron, here a couple, 3 weeks ago, my daughter went. She actually went with me. And me and Bob, we went fishing at this lake, and it's about a 1.5 mile hike back in the woods. And we went fishing, and that's kind of what we did. I told Bob, I said, this would be a good opportunity for us to fish a little bit and then just kind of listen and see what we're hearing. And we ended up getting a total of 4 knocks. One of them I didn't actually hear. Bob heard 4, but the last one we got was a really good knock. It was a lot closer, but but it was getting pretty late then, and we had to leave because it's a gnarly hike back out. It's not too bad a hike going in, but it's pretty gnarly going back out, going up the ridges.
That spot in West Virginia, we camp at the base of the mountain, and it's about 3/4 mile up to our 2 of our favorite spots. One's this side of the mountain, we call it Bigfoot Mountain, and the other side is where the pond is, right at the top of the mountains. And we'll always take we'll set up a little camera in the side by side, and carry a audio recorder with us. And that video I showed you yesterday, that's where we was at the pond up there when thought we caught something. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty weird. I just don't like to show it to many people because I don't want to. It ain't real clear. It's probably pareidolia, but I just too scared to bring it out, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand that. Totally.
So first off, Bud, so I know you've heard. So obviously you've probably had tree knocks. You've heard vocals. Have you actually had like an encounter where you actually have seen one?
No, that's the only thing I haven't had. Now I've been hit a couple of times with stuff thrown, and one time was square dead in the chest. I had my tactical gear on, and both times I got hit was I had my tactical gear on, and so I haven't wore it since. When we go back, and nothing, no aggression, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, no, we've definitely had circumstances in which things have, I think, been thrown. I have a couple times before I knew Jamie. I actually have an audio file of this one area where you could hear something so I was there with my girlfriend, it was just me and her, and I remember hearing something, and I looked up and I saw like the leaves move, and it freaked me out. We left, and I went home, I listened to my recorder, and you could hear like a whooshing sound, if like a football's thrown by your head real quick, like that noise. Yeah. And you could hear it on the recorders, clear as day. So stuff like that. I mean, I guess I don't know what it could be.
Have you ever been hit?
I was not hit, but no. But so the items that you have had thrown, are what is it usually, like rocks or sticks?
The first time was just acorn, and I didn't let my wife know because that was our very first time there. And I just got her into camping, hunting, fishing. She loves outdoors now. It's great, I guess. But because otherwise I'd be going by myself. But the first time was acorn, and the second time is that we have to go up to what we call Bigfoot Mountain, the peak. You're at the very top of the mountain. It's the only place we can get reception because we're so far out. And we got to check in with kids or whatever, make sure they're okay and all. But so we go up there maybe once, maybe twice a day to check in and check the weather too. But the first time I got hit by an acorn. The second time, the next trip we went, we was up there, and I get off side by side and I walk over. I got to do my business, and I got a whiz over here by the tree. So she's in the side by side looking at her phone, checking in. And after I get done, I'm like, well, I look down to get my phone and pull in my pocket, and as I'm raising it up, here comes a great big, it was mud clod about that big around, just a dried mud. It hit me and just shattered. And like you were saying, Aaron, I look up, and like I said, we're at the top of the mountain, so everything else is downhill from us.
Yeah.
And I look up, and there's one part in the trees, the only place it could have came was right through this area here. So I'm like, I look over at her. I'm like, okay, she's still on her phone. She ain't pranking me. So I just boom, I take off down that mountain. And I reach in to grab my thermal, and I mean, there's some trees there 200 years old. Me, you, and Jamie couldn't get our arms around. And so I'm scanning the trees, I'm scanning the bush and the ravines. And I mean, and I look back up because my wife's screaming. I'm like, what's wrong, honey? She's like, we good, you scared me. I was like, grab the camcorder, start filming, and come on down with me. And I kept looking and running around. But I mean, there's only one spot in them trees where that thing could have made it through the trees and without breaking. But it hit me and it just exploded. And I'm like, son of a gun, I knew that sucker was here. But nothing.
So I know so you're talking about using like camcorders and stuff. Now, do you use a thermal camera?
I got a thermal, night vision, couple just regular video cameras. Because the way I could be wrong. The way I see it is if say I'm filming what I think's a Bigfoot. Well, if my wife's behind me recording me filming this thing, I think that'd be so much harder to somebody to say you're faking it or whatever.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I just tell her, whenever you see me take off, you get on me. So, but, we have other plans like that for different situations and all. But, I just figured that'd be kind of like a fail safe.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I've always told my wife, I said, if there's one thing that, and I don't want to sound too harsh, but if there's one thing that gets my goat is you see these people put up pictures. Oh, look, a Bigfoot. Well, why'd you take that picture and stop? Why didn't you? Because if I'm in that situation, my plan is, if I can push my gonads back down on where they belong. Yeah. My plan is I'm gonna keep filming him, and I'm walking towards it. Being a hunter all my life, you don't never want to run towards an animal, never, or run away for that matter. But I'm going to try to keep my composure, and I'm going to keep filming and walk, because that thing's either going to flush, attack me, or it's going to be a stump. And the whole time she's going to be filming me either getting killed or running something off. So that's the best I can come up with.
Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, we really don't. We haven't even talked about a plan about what if we see something too much.
Film it, right? I have thermal.
Just,
we have cameras. I mean,
we do. I've got an audio recorder. I've took 100 times, but the last 100 times I haven't even taken it because we've got so many of them, and I get to the point where I'm frustrated. I'm tired of hearing audio. I know it's good evidence, but I'm ready for the next step.
Well, my concept with this, and I've said this to Jamie before, is I think the audio is the easiest thing to get. So if we can get audio and we're there and it starts sounding off and we can figure out the location, that's where we need to go. I mean, I feel like that's definitely a step in the right direction. But I agree, hearing audio, I mean, we have so much. I have like probably 15 clips at this point of the same thing. And I've sent it. I don't know if you're familiar, Bud, with David Ellis. I talked about him a little bit.
Yeah, David done our audio from Snellgrove.
Yeah. And he's looked at it, and obviously we can't say for sure, like, oh, it's a Bigfoot, but he's saying like it, if it fits with, possible Bigfoot audio. And yeah, I mean, the really cool thing was so the first really clear audio recorded was October of 21. And that's the one that I play on the megaphone that Jamie was talking about. And so he was able to look at that. And then I recorded something, I think it was like last year, and he was able to look at both of those and say, that's the same individual, not the same like species, but like the same individual.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Everybody says he's good.
Yeah. He's really good. Very
Aaron has one audio where there's two different ones on there sounding off at the same time, and they're just slightly different.
And that's why it's so. I was going to say that's why it's no. I was just going to say that's why I think it's so important, like, to use recorders like we've been talking about, because you can hear it and you're like, oh, I wonder, that sounds like this, but until you actually, it's nice to be able to go back and listen to as many times as you want. And with the spectrograph, I mean, it basically it makes, it's like a video, it's like it's a visual representation of audio. So you see
Yeah.
things that you didn't even know was there. Like there's been many,
Yeah.
many times where I have audio and there's other sounds in there that we didn't even hear at the time. In
Yeah,
some cases, there's multiple ones.
Yeah,
Multiple
like
creatures.
EVPs. Have you ever captured any of them?
So we've been out with a ghost, a paranormal. So there's this paranormal investigator that I'm friends with, and she's been out with us a couple times, and she actually did catch EVP. We weren't even doing anything ghost related, and
Yeah.
she went back and listened to her
Yeah.
video, and it's clear as day. You can hear the word yes, like it's creepy. It's like a
Yeah.
woman's voice, and there's none of us. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't try to capture that either. And the where we camp in West Virginia, there's an old rundown house,
Mm-hmm.
and so the guy who went with me last time, him and his wife, they went in the house to because they'll keep their coolers and stuff in there. But he came back with an EVP that said it returns every night. And then the last time we was there, we took the girls wanted to, women power stuff. And so they wanted us to take them up on this side of the mountain, drop them off, and then we was going to go on the other side of the mountain. So we dropped them off and we took foilers up, clear around the other side of the mountain, and we just sat there about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then we listened to the audio when we got back and all. And it said, follow them from the women, 2 women. I mean, whenever they was alone, they was getting sounds and knocks and, the only thing we got that night when we sitting up there on the mountain, my 4-wheeler got hit by something. As I was sitting on it. But in the woods in the middle of the night, it could have been a stick fell out of a tree. Who knows? Because everybody says I should be. Well, I'm too hard on evidence. They say. I mean, it's going to take pretty clear. I just hate to put out what they call them blob squatches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think audio is definitely the easiest. I was going to say, I think audio is definitely the easiest evidence to get. That's like good evidence, right? Because like structures, I'm not real big on structures because it's so hard to say that a person didn't do. I mean, how can you?
Yeah.
Unless this is something that's like very obvious, like a person couldn't do it. But I just don't know.
All the structures we found the same way. I mean, me and you and Jamie could have made them structures together, but yeah.
Yeah. You see that background picture behind Aaron?
Yeah.
Aaron, put you up on full screen.
I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, there you did. I see you full screen. You see him full screen?
I didn't do anything.
Well, no.
There it is. Yeah.
But it may be your voice activated.
Yeah, it is. It's when I talk.
Yeah, mine's turned off, so I don't think I turned mine off. But that area there is what we nicknamed it clear cut. It was actually a clear cut. They cut the timber out of it. I mean, they cut everything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about roughly I'd say 7-8 acres right there. And we were back in there one afternoon. It was raining. Everything was real wet. It was raining. I've got a couple of short videos on it actually. And 2 of the guys Bob seen something, and the same time Chin, Aaron's buddy, was there that night. They both seen something right in the same area.
And they described essentially the same thing, the same color.
Really? Wow.
The way it moved. And the thing is, if we go over there, like it's all grown up now, and at this point, and it's like what 5-6 feet high.
Oh
minimum.
Yeah.
So whatever it was higher than. But yeah, it was just them 2 that saw it, and this was actually the area that we kind of estimated where these sounds were coming from. So that's why we went there, because we had a general idea of the location of where these sounds were. Most of the time, it seemed like they were coming from the same area. So I looked on Google Maps, and if you remember, Jamie, it looked really weird on Google Maps because it almost looked like a clown. It looked like a clown's face, like upside down. Remember?
Yeah, it did.
And we're like, man, we need to go there. And we go there, and then 2 guys with us see something, and they describe the same thing. So
you didn't see any balloons coming up from there.
Yeah, it did. It looked weird. You would look at the aerial view on Google Earth, and especially on Bob's. For some reason, Bob's made it look more like that. But we were all laughing, talking about it. We're like, we're going to have to go there. And then we go there. And when the only thing that we found weird was the very first time that we went there. Remember how those sticks, all those sticks were laid out on that log,
Yep.
Aaron?
Yeah. No,
And I got a
exactly.
picture of that. I got a picture of that too. But and once again, I mean, I don't really tell us anything. We don't have any prints, but and then the last time we were in there was what, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago. Wait till you hear this story. So let's see, there's 6 of us.
Yeah.
And I'm in front, so we get done back there piddling around, and we start out. And it was hot. I mean, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and it was like still 85 degrees. So it was still hot in the woods. That's probably been about 6 weeks ago, ain't it, Aaron?
Yeah.
So we start out, and Bob is behind me, and then it's Aaron's in third in line, and we're just kind of making our way down the ridge, and it's pretty thick right there in this area that we're in. It's an old treetop, and it's kind of all rotted and flattened out. And all of a sudden, we hear Aaron back there flipping out. I'm like, "What's going on?" And he's like flipping out. He's like, "Yeah." Well, so I was like, "What's going on?" Well, what happened was me and Bob both stopped. Well, when Bob stopped, he was standing on a rattlesnake.
Oh,
And its head, it was sticking up about a foot, and it was like it was trying to get away, but
yeah.
it was going toward Aaron. And Aaron seen it with his headlamp.
I jumped back about 10 feet.
But keep in mind, we don't know that this is a rattlesnake. So
Well, I did
Bob,
because Bob stepped on it and it rattled. Right when Bob stepped on it, it started rattling, but it didn't rattle until Bob stepped on it.
but see, I can't, and that's another thing I'll say here in a minute. But so Bob, like, he jumps and moves, but I guess I had stepped right over it, and then Bob stepped right on it, and so we watched it kind of sliver around, and I was trying to get my headlamp and find it because I was having trouble finding it because it blended in so well. And then whenever we did find it, it stopped. And then I followed its body with my headlamp, and I seen it had a big old white head on it. I was like, "Oh boy!" And I followed it to its tail, and sure enough, there's the rattles on it. I was like, "Boys, that's a rattlesnake." We were
boy,
like,
lucky didn't get bit. Wow.
"Oh yeah, absolutely." And we were a
You guys
mile
wear
from.
snake boots?
That's a mile from the where we parked.
Oh, geez. You
Now,
guys
Bob
wear
had on
snake
tennis
boots?
shoes.
Oh, wow. Man, he got
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah, we got real lucky. So, moral to the story is, whenever it's like 85 degrees for about like the
Yeah.
next 2 weeks when it's real hot, we tried to stick to trails and roads
Oh, dear.
because, yeah, well, I mean, we're just too far back in there.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
where we are. But we wear snake boots. I don't care if it's 100 degrees. We're in our jeans and snake boots.
yeah,
So,
that'd probably be something good to invest in. And, but yeah, that was something else now. I mean, we're lucky we got out of there.
you ain't kidding.
And
Wow.
it's not a real easy walk out of there. It's definitely not an easy walk in there. It's a lot of it's
Yeah.
uphill, but coming out of there, I mean, you imagine having a rattlesnake bite and have to walk a mile out of the woods because you couldn't have packed Bob. Bob weighs 230.
Oh, wow. Well,
He's about
was there 6
6'1",
of them, you said?
Huh?
Was there 6 of them?
Yeah, there was
Was
6 of.
Well, maybe, hopefully, all you guys could lift 50 pounds apiece and carry him out there.
Yeah, we'd had to pack him out.
Whew, man, he got lucky.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're lucky one of us didn't get bit.
Yeah.
So Bob keeps a snake bite kit in his bag, but when a rattlesnake bites you, it only does so good.
Yeah, I don't know what that's gonna do for rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I don't know either. I wouldn't even know how to use it, to be honest. So
Well, probably open it up and dump the stuff and then start carrying him out of there.
yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, that was an interesting night. We didn't get nothing, but almost snake bit.
Mm.
But yeah, we found some weird prints. I think I sent you those videos.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
found
I watched them 2 or 3 times last night, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. And it was weird because some of those are, and I don't know why I didn't think about it at the time, but when we come across them, we were pretty worked up about it because we just don't find that many prints.
Yeah, we don't either.
But keep in mind, most of the time, about 95% of the time, we're always going out at dark. I mean, we get to the woods, we might have an hour before it gets dark by the time we all get rounded up and get together.
Yeah.
And because I always have so much stuff going on Saturday, I have a side business, so I'm tied up with that a lot, Saturday day.
Yeah.
So we really only have time to go out at night. But with that said, that's whenever we get most of our audio is at night. It's
Right.
Yeah,
typically
absolutely.
not daytime.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons about it, but the con about that would be is we don't see a lot of sign. I mean, it's hard to find sign in the dark,
But if we had to
Oh, yeah.
pick go out a day or night, we're going to pick night, obviously, because that's when everything happens.
Right. That's when
Yeah.
things are
Well,
moving.
I wish you gave me a little bit of notice, Jamie. I'd sent you some real good track prints that we did find. I mean, one of them looks like it has in the big print looks like it has a baby print in the same print.
Yeah, I actually seen that on Discover.
I mean,
Sasquatch.
you can. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
this is going to be released later on, so you can send it, and I can put it in the.
Oh, okay. Send it to you, Aaron, or
send it to
Jamie,
me.
or-
No, you can send it to me.
Okay.
You don't have
Well,
to
like
do
I
it
said,
right. You don't have to do it right now.
Okay, good. Because like I said, I'd have to ask the boss. Like I said, she's the tech person.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you're good.
that's about.
I know
the
how
way
to
I
answer
am.
a phone and answer messages. That's about it. So
So back on the vocal thing, but I'm curious. So, and I had a conversation with David Ellis about this, and I've heard it. I don't know if Jamie's heard it. My dad's heard it. Our buddy Chin's heard it, where it sounds like children talking in the woods, or yeah, I mean, like basically children, like communicating in the woods, like just.
oh wow.
And have you and Ellis was like, I've heard it too, and he hears it all the time. Like people say they hear that, and I mean, like I said, he
Yeah.
has heard that. Like, have you ever heard anything like that? Like it sounds like children in the woods.
No, I was raised. If you hear a baby or kids hollering, or don't go. So and that was from my grandparents. They raised me. They was Indians, 100% Indians, and yeah, I've heard so many myths, legends, and lore, and I still try to, follow that, I guess. So I'm real superstitious. So,
Yeah.
Some people call it superstition. I call it, learn knowledge, from old people.
Sure, absolutely.
And I try to follow it. And so far, it's got me through 56 years here so far.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I was reserved about taking Angie, she was a city girl and Army brat, and so she'd never been in woods, fishing, hunting, camping, none of that stuff. And so, I kind of eased her into it, and she's taken off pretty good. And the one rule we have, because like I said, most time we go by ourselves, and one rule we have is we never get out of each other's sight. If it's just two. So.
Yeah, that's good policy. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I'd like to do when I go out there, but I won't because it's just me and her. Like when I went to Snellgrove, I was wanting to go out on a boat 400 or 500 yards from shore and set up my thermal night vision and everything I had and just film the shoreline because I could cover, who knows, 3 or 4 miles in one section,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I was also wanting to climb up in the tree stand and with my thermal night vision and keep an eye on the cabin, because I found a couple of trails coming in from the woods, and there wasn't no little rodent trails. So
Yeah, we found one of those too.
yeah,
Yeah.
You can tell wasn't a daggone rodent.
Yeah, actually, Bob spotted it one night. We were coming out of there. It showed up real good at night. He just happened to look off to his left. He was like, "Look how that's tore up through there," and there was stuff broken over, and it was just a huge opening right along this road that was like cut through the woods, and it's real thick.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's this huge opening. And
did you see any branches broke like 5, 6, 8 feet high? Okay.
Yeah, nothing up real high. It was all fairly low. And what was weird was the road dips down. So when we're looking at, we're kind of looking uphill a little bit. There's like a pretty good bank there. When we got up in there and we looked and we're done looking, I turned my headlamp around and looked to the other side. There's like a big opening on that side. And I thought, man, that's not a game trail. It's just too big.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you could fit 3 of us shoulder to shoulder through there. I mean, and it was tall. And it was. I mean, it was head height wise, it was a big area too.
Now, do you
So
guys have elk in Indiana?
No.
no,
Okay, I didn't think you did. So, okay, yeah, so that rules that out. Yeah.
you know, I went to LBL back in March. These guys had a small camp out in Georgia. Group come up, and the guy that does fly fishing, big footing and fly fishing. Man, I feel horrible. I can't remember his name of his YouTube. And they come up, and that was real interesting. But I gotten up. Something had woke me up about I don't know 2:30 in the morning, and I was just standing there outside the tent, leaning up against the picnic table by myself, and I kept hearing something up on the ridge, and I thought, man, that's getting closer. And I thought, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait till it gets perfectly even with me, because that would be its closest point to me.
That may
And
be too late.
yeah, I mean, it was still a good bit away from me. I'd say, I don't know, 60, 70 yards if I was guessing. And I hit the flashlight and I had 4 sets of eyes, and one set of eyes was down low, and then it brought it way up. I was like, what in the world? They sound like horses coming across that ridge. It was elk. It was 4 elk. So if people want to know if elk run wild at LBL, they in fact do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was telling Larry, about it, and Larry goes,
Horse.
you know, it's funny that you say that. He said last year Spencer was there, and they were back hiking in the woods and seen 3 elk back in the
Yeah.
woods. He said, so that just kind of confirms what Spencer said he seen. So, but he was
Yeah.
right.
I used to whitetail guide down in Kentucky, and I talked to one of them park ranger guys or whatever, and he said, yeah, they released elk a long time ago, and said most of them's on the eastern side of Kentucky, but he said that they've been getting reports where they're migrating west now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That'd be a good area to do it. LBL would be. It's a big area.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, they sound like horses coming across that ridge.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it wasn't deer, because deer
Hmm.
is not going to be that loud just walking
No.
across. You know, huge
Wow.
difference. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
ever in the woods, been around deer, you know they don't make that
Oh,
much
yeah.
noise
Yeah.
coming.
That's all I do besides Bigfoot hunt. So,
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like stinking horses
yeah.
walking across that ridge, and I thought, what in the world is that? And it kind of it startled me a little bit. I was trying to figure out what that could possibly be, but I had never known that Spencer had seen 3 elk back in there in the woods in the daytime.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, they come strolling by. They kind of had a light, between a white and a light green tinge to their eyes when you put the flashlight on their eyes.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like a mint color almost, you might say.
Yeah, I was in Montana on a hunt, and I heard. I mean, it sounded like a daggone semi coming through the woods, and I look over, and out steps 2 big old moose.
Oh yeah,
Man, I never knew they was that big until you actually see one that close. I mean, they are huge.
yeah,
But it sounded like a semi coming through the woods. 2 of them. So,
yeah.
and I was like, wow, that's pretty
Right.
big animal. So,
I've seen that. There's a picture. There's like a video of this moose walking next to a car, and I mean, it's like twice the size of the car, and I had no idea until I saw that video how big those
yeah,
things are.
Yeah, they're massive. I mean, people hit them with their cars, and them moose elk, it'll kill them.
I think I'd be more scared to come across one of those one-on-one instead of a Bigfoot, right? I
Yeah,
don't know.
make sure there's a tree between you.
Yeah, no kidding.
hopefully, yeah. Better not be in that clear cut.
Yeah, you better. No, no, you'll be dead if you did.
You'll get
You know,
stuck and
that clear cut is so thick, man, you can't walk through it. I
yeah.
mean, you flat out can't walk through it.
Yeah, my favorite spot to deer hunt. There's an 80-acre thicket bordering our farm, and oh man, I bet any given time, I don't care what time of year it is, there's at least 20 deer in there bedding down. At least 20.
Yeah.
And it's perfect because our farm And we got the thicket here, our farming, and here's all the other farm fields with the food. I mean,
Right.
we're just, if you're patient enough, you're going to see a nice buck. So
Yeah.
don't be like my wife and shoot the little tiny baby ones,
Yeah.
So when you go out, bud, in the field, like what do you have? So for us, like we do tree knocks. Obviously, we do the like the megaphone call blasting. Do you have like any kind of strategy you use? Any specific things that you do when you go out, like tree knocks, or do you?
Me and my wife, we don't holler, howl, tree knock. Like I said, we like to act like we're just this stupid old city boy. I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Stupid old person that don't know nothing about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Just out there in the woods having a good time, going fishing, four-wheeling, hiking, whatever. And and the whole time we're out there, that's when I put up cameras and audio and stuff like that. And I even take rakes with me, because the area we go to mostly in West Virginia, it's real rocky, of course. So I'll try to rake out some paths, rake out a step, and then we got 3 trails coming down into our camp from the mountain. So I try to put two regular deer cameras, because I believe they can see IR and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I put 2 regular deer cameras at 2 trails I don't want them to come down, and then I have a video camera with a security light filming that, and it's lower. It's what you call it. It's not night vision, but it films in the dark real good. With a little bit of light. And then these new cameras I just bought that I learned about them up at Snellgrove. These things are awesome. I mean, they're about an inch by an inch. You can turn the IR on, IR off. You can set it to record 24/7. You can set it to record the motion or sound. And I mean, and you can't beat them cameras. They're only $32 a piece.
Wow.
So yeah, and man, they're awesome. But like I said, we like to go out in the daytime in our Bigfoot areas and just try to be seen. Get them curious, and then we go back to camp at dusk, dark, and just roast marshmallows, sit by the fire, talk, just whatever, and we try to draw them in dusk where I've got camera traps and other little traps. I mean, not no traps to hurt them, and just catch them on film, video, audio, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We just try to act like that we ain't out there looking for them. Seem like that's when we have our best luck.
Yeah. We're kind of, like I said, once we went fishing that one night when my daughter was with us. And I seen what went on there, and we were just fishing and listening. We were catfishing off the dam and just listening. I was kind of surprised the result from doing that. So we was doing a lot of hiking back through the woods and stuff, and it don't seem like we ever had too much happen when we were actually hiking back in the woods. And so we last couple times we've kind of chilled out and just kind of hung out. At one point we went back in the woods and took our lawn chairs back there. Went back in the woods, what, a couple hundred yards there, 300 yards maybe. And we went back there and just set our lawn chairs up and just sat and listened, and just trying different stuff, just experiment around and see what works. And but it's now 2 Saturdays ago, we had a real good night that night. We've had good luck with knocking and those howls with the megaphone to see, if we had anything in our area.
Yeah.
As far as seeing something, well, it's already night, when we're doing it. So the chances of seeing some are slim to none. I think your chances are certainly going to be a lot better in the daytime actually seeing one. Short of driving down the road, one across in front of you. And but we just kind of been trying different things and see what works. And we've actually had results both ways. But I'll be honest, we've had some pretty good luck with knocking and the megaphone.
I mean, I ain't saying there's anything wrong with it. I just from like when you're deer hunting, I know when to hit my grunt, my bleat call, my doe in distress, whatever. Like I tell my wife, I said, I don't want us doing that for one. It's just me and you out here, and 2, we don't know what we're saying. If we put out a howl or a knock, or we don't have any idea of what we're. Are we challenging them guys, or or are we, saying, hey, come on in, you're welcome, or we just don't know. So I told her, I said, I hate to do anything I don't know nothing about,
I'm
But
gonna tell you something.
like at Flat Rocks, we had we met her at the Squatch out in Tennessee 3 years ago, and she was a retired opera slash classical singer, and she can hit them daggone notes. I mean, they hurt my ears. But so Flat Rock wanted her to try one, and so I think she done E, and then went up to I think C. Anyway, she done the first two in E. She said, which I couldn't tell you A, B, C, or I don't know. I ain't musically inclined,
I mean,
but yeah. But so she said E, the first two howls, nothing, and then she went up to C, and would it just we was totally surrounded. There was like 3 or 4 different coming in from different directions. We got them on audio. Had my GoPro running. Had my video, the cameras running. So we're trying to put all this together now to put on our channel. And I mean, she did awesome. And we was just wondering, maybe it's that frequency. People always talk about frequency and vibration and stuff, but so maybe she just hit the right frequency where they could tell maybe she was a female, and it set them off. I mean, it surrounded us 360. They all started howling. So
we got one night. There was 3 or 4 of us. We were up on top of a ridge, and I said, I'm going to do a knock. And this one, me and Aaron first started running together, and I did a pretty loud knock, the limb that I just picked up in the woods. And just as soon as I did it, it wasn't 3 or 4 seconds. We got a response. So we waited 30, 45 seconds. I did it again. It responded again. Just one single howl. I was like, man, that's pretty sweet. And then keep in mind, no coyotes had come in yet. And the third time, I smacked it again a third time, and it howled again. In my opinion, by stuff like that, and we've had that happen so many times, they claim a single knock is for them, they're warning each other that something's in the area. And I don't doubt that. I really don't doubt that. But I don't think that's all there is to it. Because why would it do that? It was, I'd say it was within a mile, wouldn't you, Aaron?
Yeah, it was pretty close. And I had the recorder going, but I had that's like the only time I've had a technical issue which it didn't get recorded.
wow.
We've had pretty good luck though I haven't had that many issues with recorders not functioning. But talking about, Jamie brought up an interesting point, and you did too, but about just different methods, right? Like the best vocal I've ever recorded, we were not doing it. We were just standing in an area and it started going off. But from there, like I said, playing that, I mean, call blasting that audio in this one area. It's always at the cemetery. About, man, in the winter, Jamie, I would say the winter of this year, I mean, dude, it was responding like 50, 70, 80% of the time almost.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was just insane, like how, and it was the same thing. I mean, the same animal.
Yeah. And then one night we were getting it so much, there's a spot that's 5 or 6 miles down the road. And we first did it there. That's when Austin Collins was with us. Do you remember Austin, Bud?
No, I don't. There were so many people there at LBL that time. I didn't get a chance to meet everybody, which I hated. That's why we're like one of them things. So.
Yeah, he was a young guy that was there, young to us, and he come over and hung out camp. He's camped with us a couple times, or with Aaron a couple times. I've not even actually got to camp with him when he's come here. Have I, Aaron?
I don't think so. No,
I had something going on or something. But he picked a spot, man. We went down there one night, and it was the 3 of us. We went down there, and I got out, and there's a big sycamore tree there right there by where we park, and I smacked that tree with a knocker, and it sounded off. And I mean, dude, it was like 1/8 of a mile, maybe. and it lit up down there. We so wish we had a thermal that night because where we were standing, we could have lit up that whole area.
Oh man.
We didn't have it, and it was the same call. So we got some. We've had a call there before, but not from that area. But that next week, me and Bob went back in there, and that's whenever we found those prints. The very next Saturday.
The ones
And
on your video?
yeah, the ones on the video.
Okay.
And we went back a third week to see if there was any more. And that's when Aaron was with us. And we didn't find any more. But so we went from there one night. We got a call. We went to another spot that's, what was it, 4 mile away the crow flies, Aaron?
Yeah, give or take 4 or 5 miles.
If you draw a straight line across Google Earth, it's about, something like that, 4 or 5 miles. And it, we went there and we got the same kind of calls. They're about the same. They're just almost basically the same frequency, wasn't they, Aaron?
It was the same thing. Yes,
Yeah.
same thing we've been recording.
And I really don't believe that from there to there we had the same animal. And then when we got the audio that there was 2 of them on it, and we didn't know there was 2 on that audio. David actually caught that, didn't he, Aaron?
Yeah, he did on one of them, and that's a big thing, right? Like, and that's why I send it to David Ellis, because if it's an animal in Indiana, like I want to know what it is, right? Like, I'm not gonna jump. Some people would probably jump to a conclusion and say, "Oh, it's a Bigfoot." I don't know until we see. And
Yeah.
David said the same thing. Until you actually see
Yeah.
something making that sound,
You don't know what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the way I am. Yeah.
there's not many animals in Indiana that, the only thing that would be even close would be like a wolf, and there's really not any wolves in Indiana.
Mm.
So that's a big thing. But I know there's some things that David was talking about that they're really on the cutting edge of different things with audio. David really is. There's something called an attenuated fundamental, in which the main frequency or the main fundamental of a spectrogram is missing. And they have found this in so many, and I think Ohio how was the case, and so many vocals they've been getting recently, where that it's only in the suspected Bigfoot vocals where it's missing the main fundamental. And that's like a big thing that they've really started to look into, the scientific standpoint as far as audio goes. But the thing with that is most of the audio files that we get, these vocals are pretty far away, and the further away something is, you're going to be missing some of the fundamentals. You're not going to be getting the full effect. So the key is to, I think, get closer to it.
Yeah. Yep. There's why we try to draw them in,
Mhm.
Of course, I don't think they'd sound off, if they're pretty close watching you, but that's where the camera traps and audio trap stuff comes into play.
Mhm.
Have you guys ever gotten any weird sounds on your audio besides howls or knocks or anything like that? Or EVPs, not counting that?
Bob got a growl 2 weeks ago.
But we didn't have a recorder. So basically, we'll tell you about that. So that was the night we had tons of knocks. I think Bob counted 9 knocks. And the thing with tree knocks is, things can fall, whatever, but these were was wood hitting wood. There's a distinct difference between like wood hitting wood than just like a tree falling, right? And Jamie had done a tree knock, and this was like a few seconds after. So what are what's of that happening? It's probably pretty slim. The chances of that happening, but there was like 9 total in the course of like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one was so clear. Like if you were to go and hit a tree, like it was maybe 50 yards away, hit a tree as loud as you could. That's how loud it was. And I told Jamie, I was like, I just wonder if there's someone else like there could be another Bigfooter, because there are other Bigfooters who run in this area. So we got in the vehicle and I drove down the road because I was like, I want to rule out it being a person at this point. And there was nobody. Like we can definitely rule out it being a person. And then when we had driven away, Bob said something started like growling at the bottom of the hill.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I got thinking about that too. We had 2 vehicles there, and it may have been possible they come in closer to him because him and his wife stayed, and we drove down the road to check another pull off, to see if anybody was pulled off there, and was jacking around. or maybe doing the same thing we were doing. So we drove off, and I think there may have been a potential there for it thinking that we left, and maybe they come closer. I don't know, but we got down the road, and I texted Bob to tell Bob that there wasn't nothing down there. He said, "I no more got that text." And he said that's whenever he heard the growl, and then he heard a knock, but it was on the other side of him where we hadn't heard them. Well, they were coming from southeastern direction. Then all of a sudden, he gets one to the north while we're gone.
Oh wow!
We're
I
probably
bet that's scary.
Yeah, I think it was. But he said he heard something that sounded like a growl, and then he heard a knock not long after. Or no, he heard two more knocks, wasn't it, Aaron?
Yeah, there was.
What?
Well, he counted 9 total. I don't remember hearing 9, but I heard at least a handful.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But then he got 2 while we were gone. So.
And this past weekend we had a knock in a different area, not that far. Actually, the area that Jamie was talking about that Austin found, where we got the really good vocals at one time. We had a knock there. Jamie did a knock, and then about 5 seconds later, there was a pretty clear knock, not that far away.
We got one area. We've been camping. Aaron's camped there a few times, and I camped there. Me, Bob, and Aaron camped there, and we've got what now? About 3 calls out there now, Aaron.
Yeah, give or take.
Our house, and they match up with the rest of them. So as far as hertz are go on the spectrogram, so we that's a pretty good area we think there. But one night we didn't get nothing. Me and Bob went home that night. It's the night you and Austin was camping.
Yeah.
And then Moore crawled in your tent, laid down to go to sleep, and that dude started sounding off. Remember that?
It was when I was I was camping. It wasn't with Austin, it was with my other friends. But yeah, it basically they had left. My dad and Chin were out as well, and they had left, and it started sounding off. And my one friend who was camping wants nothing to do at all with the Bigfoot thing. He thinks it's stupid. And he goes, "Aaron, that sounds like your megaphone."
Yeah.
So your buddy don't believe in them, or
a lot of my buddies don't believe in it, but yeah, no.
What do you think of that then?
Well, his explanation was it's going to sound even crazier than saying it's a Bigfoot, but it's like a big truck, like a semi. Like, yeah, it's not. You can tell on a spectrograph if something's mechanical. It's a lot different.
Huh.
We don't know what we got.
Now, do you guys hunt public parks or forest or something? Or?
Yeah, okay. We cross through them.
Yeah,
okay.
State forest.
Yeah. Okay. Me and my wife, we're only about 40 minutes from Hocking Hills, hour and 45 minutes from Salt Fork, 30 minutes from Wayne National, and several other. There's so many groups here in Ohio that go out and look. We just usually stick to people calling us, "Hey, can you come and check my place out and give me some advice or whatever?" And so we usually pretty much private land. And there ain't nothing wrong with hunting them other places. There's just so many people that go. There's a lot of groups in Ohio. We've had several ask us to join them. We're like, well, thanks but no thanks. We just like to go out when we can, whenever we can, and with who we can. So we just hate to be committed to one group, and nothing against the groups. It's just whenever we want to take off, we can go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we pretty much only get about Saturday. We're none of us are retired. Bob's getting real close.
Really?
Yeah, Bob. He's 59, and he's healthy as a mule, and so he still works quite a bit. He likes to work.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I retired almost 3 years ago, and my wife works Monday through Friday, but she's on a flex schedule, I think she calls it, so she can work 4 10-hour days if she wants.
Yeah,
and then when we take off for a long weekend, where we get a call. There's a lady we talked to wants us to come down to Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, cool, yeah. We've been to Florida. I went to Uwharrie National Forest with, oh man, I can't believe, man, what's his name? He's gonna kill me. Mark Kinchel. Mark Kinchel.
Oh yeah, I know Mark. He camped with us.
Yeah, well, we went down to camp with him in Uwharrie. I think that's how you say Uwharrie.
Yeah,
it's where Finding Bigfoot went down. And that guy filmed that Bigfoot reaching
on the stump of the candy bar. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark got that same exact site, and then CD Squatcher Christine.
Yep.
She came with us, so we was there 3 or 4 days doing. That's what we like to do. We like to go meet everybody, exchange ideas, try new stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe there's something you guys do that I don't know about. Maybe we do something you don't know about, and like we love thrifting. The stuff we take camping is most thrift stores and Goodwills and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we might see a bag of flour or baby powder. I'll buy every one they got. Because like I said, because we don't get a lot of prints in West Virginia, so I like putting down baby powder or flour on some of them trails and to see if I get at least a print and give me some idea of what's coming through.
I don't mean to be doing so much moving around. This chair is killing my butt. I'm up in my daughter's room, so. Yeah, I come up here. It's got a decent place to sit in the wall behind me, and I get away from everybody. So I come upstairs. I have to keep moving around.
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen.
This little couch that's in here, man, it is not that comfortable. But yeah, we're just trying. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to win no awards.
You say sometimes there's 6 of you guys, Jamie?
Yeah, sometimes that's been.
Have you guys ever tried like walking towards each other from, I don't know, half a mile away and just, you ever tried that?
That's something we've talked about. We haven't really, usually we stick together, but at some point, maybe even this weekend, I think it'd be good to try like kind of splitting up in different areas and see who gets activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. You all stand around for an hour and you start walking towards each other.
Right. And it's just a way to like triangulate. And I have multiple recorders, and you say you have multiple recorders going, and something I need to do, but usually I've done it a couple times. But when you do it, they don't sound off. But is figuring out the area where we think sounds are coming from, and then setting up recorders, maybe a half mile apart. And then if it does sound off, you keep track of which recorder you had where, and then you can probably get a general idea of where you think the sound's coming from. Yeah. If you've ever watched Expedition Bigfoot?
Yeah.
So there was one episode, I think it was on this first or second season, I think it was the first, where they had this, it's probably thousands of dollars, and it's like new cutting edge technology, but they had technology where when something sounds off, it can tell you the exact locations of where it's coming from, like the GPS. Maybe 30 years from now, that'll be a common thing and won't be that big of a deal to acquire something like that, but that would definitely be nice. That would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, it would be. I just don't remember seeing that one, though.
Yeah, they set up like some kind of beacons, like 3 or 4 beacons, like in a course of like a mile, and then when this thing sounded off, the software told them like the exact like longitude and latitude coordinates of where the sound was coming from.
That'd be pretty cool. It's kind of like submarine warfare. You drop your sonar buoys.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be pretty cool. Dropping them over the forest like that. That'd be a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
I just can't afford that.
Right. So then I think the next best thing would be to set up recorders. And it would be something you have to go back and listen to and figure it out. But I think that would be the next best thing, the most affordable thing, probably.
That'd be pretty cool to have.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but we don't want to take up too much of your time. We appreciate you coming on.
Oh, I appreciate you guys inviting me.
Yeah, that's no problem. I told you there the other night, we probably have a camp out, no doubt, this spring or something. When we do, I'll let you know ahead of time.
Yeah, come on up, Jimmy.
Camp with us for a couple, 3 days or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't know how many campouts we planned last year, and we kept getting rained out. Remember that, Aaron?
Yeah. I'm supposed to go to Ohio in November, I think, with Austin at some point, somewhere in northeast Ohio, I think.
Yeah, it's up around Salt Fork. That's
Yeah.
a little bit north of Salt Fork. Yeah.
Austin's
Yeah,
really
just be
good.
careful. Yeah, be careful. November's deer season's in full swing, and gun season's usually last week of November.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably not the best time to go, actually, if you're going to be in the woods, unless you're going at night.
It's supposed to be either end of October or early November. I have to check.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, bow season's in right now. Normally, I don't get back home till 8:30. I'm out bow hunting, but I had a honey-do list for today. I had to do all the yard work there.
Yeah. I've had those.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Yeah, holler at me sometime, and maybe we plan to camp out together, or if not, maybe I'll see you at Spencer's.
Sure.
Yeah.
Aaron, are you going to go to Spencer's, or you know who you know Spencer?
I know Spencer. Yeah, we were on Spencer's show last year or this year. I don't even. It's been a while. I forget when that even.
Back in the summer.
Back in the summer. Yeah. Okay. I've been I went to the Beast Camp out a couple years ago.
Yeah, I did too. With LBL?
Yeah, it's when you was there.
When it was a blizzard, when it was like a freaking
blizzard.
That's
when I met you, Jimmy. Yeah. Oh, God, it was cold, wasn't it? Whew.
Oh, man, it was cold.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember meeting you, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. There's a lot of people there, so.
Like I said, I didn't get to meet everybody, and that's where we like to go, to meet everybody, you know.
Yeah, Aaron come in tonight. We had the long campfire. They did the show.
Yeah.
We sat on the backside. It was me and Bob, and then Aaron was sitting beside Bob.
Well, some again, I could have met most of you guys.
Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of people there, though, like you said.
Well, you ain't kidding. Wow. Whew.
And then the next day, Kane come in and his buddy. Man, I feel bad. I can't remember. Eric. Nobody's. Eric Tipton.
Yeah, Eric. Mm-hmm.
They come in the next day. Boy, Kane's got some good stuff on his Facebook.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's probably only 45 minutes from me. I never met him yet. I ran into Kane up here at the Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival this past summer, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We've never been to that. Aaron, we need to go to that.
Hocking Hills, yeah, that'd be cool. I want to go to that, and I want to go to the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, and I think it's in May.
Yeah. We go to that every year. We've been every year. So it's usually like May 6th. My birthday's right then, so that's how I remember it. That's now when the boss says, "Hey, you want to go to the Ohio Bigfoot Conference for your birthday?" I said, "Well, heck yeah."
Yeah, you don't live that far from that stuff.
Like I said, it's about an hour and 45 minutes to Salt Fork where they have the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. And then, like I said, Hocking Hills is only 40 minutes from us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Mothman place is 35 minutes down the road. So,
yeah. Where's Austin live at over there, Aaron?
He lives in Dayton, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's about an hour and 20 minutes west of us.
Yeah. I'm about.
Yeah, we're straight below south of Columbus.
We're about 3 hours from Dayton, I think, ain't we, Aaron?
Yeah, so Bud's probably about 4 hours from us then, give or take.
Yeah. It takes me 4 hours to get to Indianapolis.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're about 45 minutes south of Indy, so.
Okay.
Of course,
any good deer hunting over there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bob does a lot of deer hunting. I used to do quite a bit of deer hunting, but I got older and kids and working and.
Well, I told my wife before we got married, I said, "Hey, come October, November, you might not see me much." Well, she's like, "Well, I want to try it." Now she loves it too. I'm like, "Well, still can't get away from her."
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. You both enjoy it. So
we have a ball. I mean, she Bigfoot hunts with me. She loves fishing, hunting, camping. I'm like, man, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, we appreciate you coming on here.
Yep, I know it's short notice, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys hollering at me. So
hey,
if you ever
no
need
problem.
Balloon, holler at me again.
All righty. Thanks for coming on. We'll catch you later.